Hello everybody, my name is Daulton Nelson and today I'd like to talk about a game I just beat. That game being Whip Whip for the PC. Whip Whip is a 2D action platformer developed and published by Alpha Unit. Every so often when I want to find something to play, I'll search online stores to see what looks interesting and what is on sale. That's how I found out about Whip Whip here. I was drawn to Whip Whip's very colorful and retro look, and the game was on sale for $2.49 compared to its normal $9.99 price tag. And now that I've played it, Whip Whip is pretty addicting, albeit very short. First, the good. Whip Whip is a very easy game to pick up and play. Its main mechanics are moving, jumping, and grabbing, which is laid out in a classic 2-button, 1-joystick format. In Whip Whip, you play as Tira and his golem friend Minton, as the two of them search around for pieces of a secret recipe. In a typical stage of the game, Tira is dropped off into the level where a number of monsters need to be defeated. To defeat the monsters, you must use your grabbing ability to grab a monster and fling yourself toward it. When you do so, you become this flying cannonball that destroys anything in your path as long as you're in the air. When a monster is hit by you, it flies in the opposite direction, with X's for eyes, and dies once it stops moving. This process of flinging yourself around, destroying a bunch of monsters, is super satisfying and a lot of fun. Helping you along the way is these power-ups that you can get that makes your grabbing range longer, or your movement speed faster, or a myriad of other abilities that can help you out. These power-ups you keep until you're hit, so if you play well, you can be this souped-up, powerful flinging machine. Whip Whip also has a combo system, sort of, where if you hit 3 or more monsters in a single fling, a balloon will float up from the bottom of the screen. On one of these balloons will be a letter from the word expand. Walk into the balloon and you will collect that letter. If you collect all the letters, you will be awarded with 3 more hearts to your current health value, so trying to get as much monsters as possible is encouraged, and makes the game even more addicting. Whip Whip is also adorable. Everything in this game is so cute. Tira's character design makes him look very fluffy and cuddly, and he's always smiling. His animations are very well made to accentuate his cuteness. The colors of the game are very bright and saturated. It's like I'm living in some sort of candy-coated, ultra-sweet wonderland. The game itself also has quite a bit to offer. There are several types of monsters in the game, each with their own unique behaviors. Whip Whip also introduces some stage features, like these objects you can grab onto, or spikes that can hurt you, or even conveyor belts that make movement faster or slower depending on what directions you move on them. Finally, there is a retro arcade/Genesis style soundtrack for this game that sounds nice. The soundtrack itself was made by Tone, also known as Hirokazu Koshio. There are some bright, bit-tuned bangers on this soundtrack. It's a shame that it isn't available commercially. Now for the bad. At 100 stages, with the ability to clear them to go by very quickly, Whip Whip is a very short game. It took me about 83 minutes to beat the game as a whole. Also, throughout this playtime, this game may seem a little unfair about hit collisions at times, especially with Tira, who seems to have a collision box that is bigger than he is. This causes the player to be hit and die pretty easily, although I will say that jumping back into the game takes no time at all. There is also a big problem with how the game controls. On the PC, Whip Whip requires a controller to play it, which is fine. However, moving Tira around can only be done with the joystick, not with the directional pad. This is a big problem, because depending on what direction the joystick is tilted, Tira will throw his grab in that direction, but Tira can only throw his grab in 8 directions: up, down, left, right, and diagonals. This would be fine if I could use the D-pad, but with the joystick, I'm expecting much more free reign on the throw direction here. So without the option of being able to use the D-pad, I'm left feeling a bit frustrated at times when throwing a grab. Which leaves me at my final criticism. Whip Whip never feels like it reaches its fullest potential. The game definitely needs a timer on the later stages. The game ends very abruptly in multiple ways, and even now as I've played the game twice through, I can't help but leave the game wanting more out of it. So with that being said, I'm going to give the game a final score of a 7 out of 10. Some of you watching may be a little weary about getting this game, being as it is so short, with the price tag being what it is, but if you can get past that, you'll be in for a very addicting and fun game with great mechanics and music. Think of Whip Whip as a sweet snack. Very tasty, but also momentary. That concludes my review for Whip Whip for the PC. If you like my reviews, you can like, comment, or subscribe. I also have social media links down in the description below, as well as a link to my online Portfolum, where you can see video game works that I have done. And so, with that out of the way, please make sure to have a nice day.